Hey guys, welcome to Dadism number 3. So it is October. We're approaching the presidential election in November, and politics is all around us. So I thought I'd share some of my thoughts and perspectives on politics. Two things I want to share. Number one is debate and what it is, what it isn't, and sort of our perspective on where we're at in our society on that. And the second thing is the role of government and evaluating policies based on the roles of government. So first off, debate. We've lost the art of debate. What we see on TV is not debate. What we see on social media is not debate. It's arguing, it's attacking, it's blaming. So debate, to do a true debate, you want to pick a topic that you and the debater agree on, or two debaters agree on, and put solutions or points on that topic and really discuss that topic back and forth, pros and cons. Listen to the other. A lot of times when you do that, genuinely, respectfully, you will find out that what you thought was an opposing view may have some perspectives that you didn't consider, and vice versa. They may say, oh, I didn't understand or put something in a perspective that you didn't necessarily, or they didn't necessarily see from their perspective. And a lot of times what you can get out of that is what's called a win-win, where you, at the end of a debate, or people call it compromise, but really it's an understanding of, hey, you value X and I value Y, and out of this problem we can both get a little bit of what we value strengthened. And as far as policies go, that's the fruit of good debate. Pretty good debate. And sometimes by placing your argument in a structured and having to propose it and defend it, again in a productive, effective environment, you can develop your own thought process better. And sometimes in explaining something or talking about it, we'll develop our thoughts in a different way than just sitting and thinking about it. So the art of debate, I encourage you. We've said in our culture, don't talk about politics or religion, and that's false. That's gotten us to where we are in this society now, that we don't have the skill set to do a debate without yelling at each other, without blaming each other, demonizing each other. So practice that. Find somebody you trust and care about, and set down these ground rules. Just say, hey, you know what? I know that we disagree on X. Would you be willing to talk about this and just share our thought, and don't be afraid to say something that they don't agree with. And that way you can, it's just something that we've lost. So I encourage you to do that with friends, with relatives, and set the ground rules. So hey, you know what, explain that this is what I would like to do, and just to exercise those muscles. So that's number one, is debate. Number two is the roles of government. Just because there's a problem out there does not mean government, or a certain sector of government, is the best place to solve it. Some problems government has to solve it. The border crisis, okay. Maybe state governments could do something about it, but in reality, it's most likely a federal government issue. But there are different levels of government and different levels of society that are most effective for certain problems. So there's federal government, state, county, city, school boards, neighborhood groups, churches, housing authorities, or housing homeowners association, and families. So there's different groups or levels of society that are best suited to solve certain problems. And when you're looking at a problem, don't only look at, I think we have in our society now this assumption that the federal government has to solve this problem, and that's not what our country was founded on. If you look at the Constitution, I learned a lot on this podcast that's called History That Doesn't Suck. I believe it's episode 15 where they start going into the formation of the Constitution. The whole podcast is fantastic if you got drive time and time to listen. It's really entertaining and good perspective. But the founders of our country knew there were lots of sharp knives with government and power, and they wanted to limit the abuse of power and limit the ways that could undermine the country, and had a lot of great thought processes about it, and were founded on very good principles. And frankly, a lot of the things that we're doing in the federal government now are contrary to those principles. So it's good to reflect on that, know what those mean, and they put a structure in place that we really need to respect and at least understand. I don't think we understand that in our society now. So understanding the balance of powers, understanding the role of government. There are certain certain problems that the federal government needs to solve or address, or at least provide the structure. And then there's other ones they can't. Drake can explain that there are certain things that even in his county government role, there's certain things that are not solvable by government. It has to be solved by parents and the community and people and volunteers, great foster parents, and that's not the government can provide maybe a structure for that, but they're not the solution to the problem. So and that leads me to ask you to look at policies. I believe the family is the building block of any great culture, any culture itself. And if there are policies that undermine the family, that take over, where you put government taking over the role of the family and trying to do things that the family is meant to do, they're going to do it less effectively in most cases, and it undermines our society. So I encourage you, a lot of people now are looking at politicians themselves and not really talking about policies, and you really got to look at policies and what the effect is, and what the effect is on the family, on the cornerstone of our society. So wanted you to just have those two nuggets as you think and pray about both this upcoming election and just life in general. So I wanted to say I love you guys. I'm praying for you, and hope I'll see you soon. Love you. God bless.